Tamara Scott is an RNC official in Iowa. She's also the state director of Concerned Women for America, so you know this is going to be good. She's very concerned this week about children crossing the border from Mexico. Wait until you find out why she's concerned.
Us just to open our borders, it's chaos. We don't know orderly who's coming in, who's not. When we see these kids, you and I think young kids, we think maybe 12-year-olds, maybe even homeschoolers, or excuse me, middle schoolers. But we know back in our revolution, we had 12-year-olds fighting in our revolution. And for many of these kids, depending on where they're coming from, they could be coming from other countries and be highly trained as warriors who will meet up with their group here and actually rise up against us as Americans. We have no idea what's coming through our borders, but I would say biblically, it's not a Christian nation when you entice people to do wrong.
Yeah, we don't know who they are. They could be Klingons.
It's a Christian nation when you fearmonger about like prepubescent immigrants that are trying to get out of their country because of some sort of persecution or really bad situation. What the hell is she talking about?
No, that was awesome. That's such a target-rich environment. First of all, with the biblical principles, she's right though. I remember what Jesus said about the Mexican border, and he was not in favor of it. Okay, and Jesus' well-known opponent.
Was for NAFTA.
He was for NAFTA. He's a well-known opponent of children.
Yes.
Okay, definitely opposed to.
Yeah.
And then I like how she turned it around to us. Like, so we had child warriors, so they must have a No, wait. Yeah. You just said we had child warriors.
No,
they didn't have child warriors. What are you talking about?
I think that one of two things happened. Either she has seen the movie Hook and she's very worried about the lost boys, or possibly she was punched in the crotch by a kid at one point and realized that when you're that low to the ground, you're very dangerous with your hands.
Well, you know what? She's wearing a skirt there, and if the camera went down, you would notice she had calves like grapefruits. And but
now,
but
she's
right about the border being too porous, because obviously our dipshit filter is not working at the border because people are slipping through like crazy.
Yeah. She also, there was another person on that radio program with her. Let's listen to that.
Well, Tamara, you made some very good points, and you're absolutely right. We do know that Hamas and Hezbollah funds several training camps in Venezuela and other South American countries, and they are training these youth, beginning as early as 8 or 9 years old, through the MS-13 gangs. But they are being trained as warriors. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right.
You're absolutely right.
That was Mary Hull, is the president of the Clear Lake, Texas Tea Party, and she is drawing connections between groups I didn't know were remotely connected. And by the way, about the whole worrying about these kids coming in and rising up and overthrowing America, I was doing some research to find out if there was any sort of philosophical principle that might go against what they're saying, and I found this little-known book, the Old Testament, and they say, "The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself."
No. We ignore the parts of the Bible that don't go along with our agenda. Duh.
Yeah.
So let's pretend like that didn't exist. Let's get rid of that.
Direct quote from the Bible is the most devastating counter-argument I've ever seen. It's not biblical for the Mexican child warriors to cross, or we should hate the kids inside our borders.
And then MS-13.
The Bible told me to love them as I love myself, but sorry.
So they're from the concerned people of America. I think that was that's a typo. I think they're the confused people of America. That's what that's.
By the way, she is a lobbyist. This is hilarious. The first woman who spoke for the family leader. Okay, she's in favor of families. Okay, she's just in favor of our families with a proud tradition of children warriors and against their families. She thinks that Hezbollah has gotten together with MS-13, which is a Latin American gang. They got together in Venezuela and trained child assassins. Okay, maybe.
It's a real threat.
And then I love that the person with her is like, you nailed it. You nailed it.
They're just fear-based, which is what we've been dealing with, I guess, since Reagan, right? They're just completely fear-based. So I wish there was like this slam dunk argument you could just throw in their face that proves to them like how fear-based. There isn't, because they're afraid of everything. There isn't one thing they're scared of. They're afraid of Obamacare, and they're afraid of ISIS. They're afraid of little Mexicans and Venezuelans. They're afraid of Hezbollah. What did you say?
It sounds so funny. They're afraid of little Mexicans. Tiny little Mexicans. That's what they're afraid of.
The leprechaun Mexicans.
The Irish Mexican breed that is being breeded in Venezuela as we speak.
That's check. I'm Irish. We're the original Mexicans. You know that.
That's true. But ironically, there is one thing they're not afraid of. Climate change.
Ha!
Which is
Or
probably
anything.
going to destroy the planet.
Yes.
That is the one thing they're not afraid of.